Sip on this. Over 50 Mythbusters. Because I'm over 50. And some of you who are watching probably are too. And today we're going to chat about over 50 Mythbusters in celebration of Menopause Awareness Month, which is happening now in October. So if this is your first time joining me, then welcome. I'm your host, Deirdre Haggerty, sipping from my new mug available on Coachingwithmsd.com. Sip on this. I'm a certified career coach, founder of Coachingwithmsd, which offers life coaching and career coaching services to align your career with your values and your vision of life, which is extremely important to me because if you watched my last episode when I was discussing how I pivoted careers, having that alignment was truly important for me. And I went through a huge transformation, which I mentioned in the episode before this one. So I am so excited you're joining me today to have a conversation, coffee, or whatever it is you happen to be drinking today in hand as we chat about life, careers, relationships, and all the little things that can shape who we are. I will never lecture you. I will never talk at you. It's just the two of us, babe, in a coffee shop, chatting about topics that make us laugh. And that's the coffee shop right behind me. Chatting about topics that make us laugh or drive us nuts. One of the topics that drive me nuts is ageism. Started to happen for me literally when I went back into full-time into the workforce. I've never not worked. I've always worked. But my job always consisted of, I owned a business, so it was my business. I had my kids with me. I didn't really consider it work because it was my business. It was awesome. I had a home office and I had a storefront. I wrote online for online magazines, and I worked from home a lot before working from home was even a thing. I worked remotely. So when I went back to work full-time out of the house, when my youngest was in kindergarten, I had just turned 40. And that's when ageism, started to peek its little head into my life. If you're unaware what it is, it's a prejudice or discrimination on the grounds of a person's age, obviously, often having ridiculous myths attached, such as these 5 common myths for women who are over 50. And it doesn't just have to be over 50, but today I'm myth busting over 50. I'm 57, so this topic's important to me because what I'm about to tell you are truly myths. Now, ageism happens everywhere, but it can be particularly prevalent at work, especially when you're dealing with stupid comments. So what I'm going to say about stupid comments is this, and this can come at you from any direction. You cannot give life to someone's stupid comment. It says more about them than it does about you. So don't think about it. It says more about them than it does about you. Don't give it any life. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Because I've had comments thrown at me. I have. And I have left work upset. And I have said stuff. But, honestly, the older I got, once I turned 50 and now that I'm 57, I don't give a shit. Say what you want. I don't care. So, what are the 5 myths about women over 50 and their Mythbusters? The first myth. Women over 50 lose their attractiveness. My director, my production manager, my producer, my stage manager is sitting right here. He's my husband. Hey, yo, down there. Have I lost my attractiveness?
Absolutely not.
Wow, you hesitated, bro. Oh my God, you hesitated. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, and the truth is, I don't give a shit if I lost my attractiveness. Here's what I have to say about that. Confidence and self-awareness and authenticity. All these things I've been talking about in all of these little episodes I've been putting out there now since I started Sip on This. They peak after 50, and they're qualities that radiate far more than beauty does. Far more than beauty than youth alone. And many women actually glow differently at this stage because they know who they are and what they want. So if we're talking beauty, okay, there's a lot of women in their 50s who are stunningly gorgeous, and in their 60s. I mean, hello, just look at J-Lo. I mean, I know somebody who was literally just with her yesterday, up close and personal, who said she is stunningly gorgeous. And what is J-Lo, 55 now? 56, I think. You can look it up, but yeah. So yeah, no, it doesn't. It does, and I don't even want to hear the fact that, oh my God, you know, she makes so much money. Yeah, she makes so much money. Yeah, she has all these beautiful products at her disposal. I don't care if she's getting injections or any work done. I don't care. It's none of my business. She looks fabulous. She also has to look fabulous because she works hard to look fabulous, which means to me that everybody could look fabulous if they want to. I have decided to grow my gray hair out, and I've been doing it for quite some while. I've also been gray since I'm 8 years old. No lie. Had this huge streak in my hair. Obviously, something traumatic must have happened to cause this giant streak in my hair. And literally, since I'm 8 years old, so we're talking 49 years, my mother put some hair dye in my hair, colored my hair, probably why I became a hairstylist to start my career off in life. And then I started highlighting it at 13 and have been highlighting it ever since. And then the more gray I got, the older I got, which was basically in my 30s, I started to do a single process and then highlight over that. It got to be too much. I said, you know what, I'm done. And as I started to watch, like I have my natural color appears out here and there. But as this very light silver started to poke through, I'm like, wow, that's actually really pretty. You know what? I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's my hair. So I'm highlighting over that and blending it out. I'm going back to original highlights over my silver hair, blending out my hair color as the single process as it grows out with some of my natural color underneath, which is like a light brown, growing out as well. Someone's fired. Literally. I can't fire them. They're related to me. And I'm not going back to the beginning. We just keep going. Myth number 2. It's too late to reinvent yourself. Hell no. Go back and watch the episode before this when I talk about cosmetology careers, where I actually start crying in the episode because I'm talking about how I reinvented myself, how Jesus came to me in my sleep. I'm not even kidding. In a nightmare I was having, telling me everything was going to be okay and shedding his light in my heart because I was so upset as I started to reinvent myself, as I left something I was doing for more than 30 years, something that developed my career and brought me to the place that I'm at right now, which is a career coach and doing a podcast, which I never thought I would do a podcast, but some people said I should do a podcast, so I don't know. I'm doing it. Writing books that I've been writing, like, yeah, no, it's never too late. Here's the truth. Women in their 50s and beyond are launching businesses, writing books, traveling solo, and starting new relationships. Life experience fuels reinvention, doesn't limit it. That's how I reinvented myself. So I'm going to talk about some famous women who reinvented themselves in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I mentioned J-Lo, who somebody I know was with her yesterday. And, you know, she went, I mean, I feel like every decade of this woman's life, you know, she went from fly girl, dancer, to pop star, to entrepreneur, to movie star, and now she's doing, got a movie that is got a lot of buzz around it, Kiss of the Spider Woman. So this woman is constantly reinventing herself. My idol, Mel Robbins, who, while I was going through this transformation of myself and feeling like I can't do this career anymore, and like I said, please go back and watch my last episode on cosmetology careers, and you'll see a little bit about my journey. But she came into my life in a podcast, and then I started reading her books, and her podcast started, I believe Sirius signed her in 2022, and she was 54, and she's 57 right now. She does world tours. She had a lot of stuff go on in her life. Yes, she was a lawyer. Yes, she was a CNN consultant. She did a lot of things. She was a keynote speaker, but she didn't hit it like household name until a few years ago. And now she's Mel Robbins. I mean, come on. Her podcast is top rated. It's award winning. She's a best-selling author. The Let Them Theory, which I've read. Actually, I read that on audiobook, and I consider that reading, is, but The Let Them Theory has been ranked the #1 bestseller of 2025. Michelle Yeoh, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She's 63 now. She's the first Asian woman to win an Oscar, and she did that for she won the Best Actress for Everywhere All at Once in 2023 when she was 61. And yes, she was an actress, and she was doing all kinds of things, and she was in great movies. But did you know her name? Probably not. And then she won Best Actress. Naomi Watts, 57. She went through menopause at a very, very young age. She's very vocal and open and honest about this. She's an actress. She's an advocate for menopause and menopause wellness, and she launched Stripes, which is a skincare brand, and health and wellness brand. Another one of my idols is Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she's absolutely gorgeous, and she's 66. And one of the things I love about her is she is aging authentically. At least she says she is, right? And I'm going to take her for her word. She speaks out against invasive procedures and injections. She also won for that movie, Everywhere All at Once, same year, at 64. She won the Best Supporting Actress. That was her first actress. Her first Oscar. The Scream Queen, inherited from her mom, but she was the Scream Queen, and she reinvented herself. Now she's in The Bear, one of my favorite shows. She's outstanding. Love her. So, myth number 3. Menopause ends your vitality and sex life.
Nope.
Oh, now you talk? But I thought I wasn't attractive. Let's see if I ever have sex with you again. I'm gonna say, I don't know what menopause is because I haven't had menopause yet. I don't know what stage I'm in. I'm gonna guess I'm in perimenopause. I regularly get my period. I have some symptoms, very little. They're minor. I've spoken to my doctor about this. I mean, I'm 57. I've had my period for 44 years. Like, think about that. Regularly. 44 years. I actually have it right now. TMI. But it's really effing annoying. I do take hormone replacement therapy, which has eased them a little bit because I've always had, the bad cramping and heavy bleeding, and so it's eased it a little bit, but they still come regularly. Symptoms that I have, I want to say that I did experience, and the HRT did help with this. I did have mood swings and a little brain fog. The HRT definitely helps with that. I do also take a little bit of creatine in my coffee every morning, which is supposed to help with that. I'm try to be a little pro advocate on brain health. My mom had Alzheimer's, but as far as the mood swings, they really still coexist with my cycle. So I don't really know. I always got night sweats when I'm due for my period. So, and I'm not really night sweats. I'm hot, but I don't get hot flashes. I don't have the symptoms. And I don't want my period anymore. And it was the same for my mother. She was into her 60s. And then my mother is no longer with us, but I remember her saying is the doctor stopped it for me. Now, I don't know how the doctor stopped it for her. But here's the truth. While menopause brings changes, many women describe this phase as liberating. No more cycles. Greater comfort with their bodies. Yes, I do have greater comfort with my body. I'm a little heavier than I was when I was 20, but yeah, and I'm only talking by 10 pounds, so it's not a big deal. And often a deeper intimacy. And I will say that, none of that has changed with my husband anyway. So yeah, no, that's not true. But with self-care and communication, sexual wellness can flourish. I am by no means a menopause expert. What I did do is I found my gynecologist who is a menopause expert, and I go to her and I have conversations with her all the time about it. Okay, myth number 4. Women over 50 can't keep up with technology or trends. Who fixes the technology in this house? Mr. Director.
Yeah, that would be you.
That would be me. That's all I'm going to say about that. No, I have no problem with technology. A lot of people I know my age don't have problems with it. So, yeah. But the truth is, women in midlife are among the fastest growing groups on social media. Hello, the over 50 TikTok. Hello. And in entrepreneurship. From TikTok to tech startups, look at Shark Tank too. They're redefining modern at every level. And myth number 5. Aging means becoming invisible. Here's the truth. The narrative is shifting. Women over 50 are commanding boardrooms, podcasts, Mel Robbins, hello, film roles. Really everywhere. And public, what did we just watch the other day? Lori Metcalf was in, and she's definitely over 50. I'm not sure exactly how old she is. Maybe she's in her 60s. She was just in Monster, the Ed Gein story. She played the mom. Wow, what a great show. We watched it last week on Netflix. It was insane. Charlie Hunnam, I hope I'm saying his last name correctly. He starred, and I had never ever had an idea that this serial killer inspired so many of the movies. I couldn't even watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Psycho, I just talked about Jamie Lee Curtis. That was her mom, Janet Leigh. I had no idea. Lori Metcalf was co-starring in that. Outstanding. But visibility is a choice, not an age. We are here, and we are not going anywhere. So, too bad you don't like seeing us all over TikTok or all over your social media page. Well, I don't care. And that's what's great about being over 50. I just don't give a shit. So, one thing I will say about getting older that is possibly not a myth. One of the things, I don't count the days anymore. I don't count the time. I don't wish for a day to come because I'm truly trying to live in the moment. Not too long ago, I worked with a woman, and we would be in the same age bracket, right? Once she found out that I was older than her by 2 years, she kept saying, now my birthday's at the end of December, so if you're watching this now in October, the end of December, I will be 58. So she would keep saying to me, oh, and make me a year older. And what are you talking about? I'm this age now. My birthday is not for another 4 months. Oh, well, it's going to be this year. Bitch, if I die today, my obit's going to say she was 57 years old, not 58, because I haven't lived the rest of the 12 months that make up a year. So I don't look, it's not that I regret my birthday. I don't look forward to, I can't wait for this. You know, when you were younger, it's like, oh my God, I can't wait until I'm this age to, no, I don't, that's the one thing I'm going to say is I don't do that because I truly try to enjoy every single moment because time is fleeting and it's just gone. And my oldest son is 32 and it's like, wow. And my youngest son is 20. The time goes so fast. And I was chatting with my oldest son last night, and he was decorating his house for Halloween and talking about all those things about home, and that he brought what he remembered from his childhood to decorate his house for Halloween. So those things matter, making those memories. All of that matters. That is our chat for today's episode of Sip on This. You can get the mug, coachingwithmsd.com. Thank you so much for sharing your time and coffee with me. And if something I said resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to this podcast, so you don't miss future conversations. And if you're feeling that itch for a career pivot or over 50 and stressing over reinventing yourself or repurposing yourself for work, changing careers, starting a business, writing that memoir, I'm sure you have some great stories too. I have great stories. I'm sure you have some great stories. Then visit me at my website. I can absolutely help you. Until next time, keep sipping, keep growing, and remember to live your life as your authentic self, your version, no one else's, 50 and over, rock baby. And my husband's not having sex with me tonight, by the way.